guys, Chris reporting for NFL News and Notes, and today we're covering the Minnesota Vikings. Now, last year the Vikings were 12-4. They had the second overall scoring offense. They had the sixth-ranked defense, second in the pass or the run defense, but 19th in the pass defense. So that's got to kind of get addressed. I think they did do a pretty good job. Now, the big things that the Vikings do have. Brett Favre. I mean, he had arguably his best year last year. 33 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He was a monster last year. And when they really needed him to have a big game, he contributed. Another thing, Adrian Peterson, a lot of people said he had a bad year. He didn't have a good year. He had only 3 games of 100 yards rushing. He had 18 rushing touchdowns. Now, obviously, the fumbles are the big problem that he's having, but 18 rushing touchdowns, that's pretty good, in my opinion. So I don't understand why everyone's saying that he had a horrible year. I think he had a good year. I mean, not great, but he had a good year. He didn't have a horrible year. He had a pretty decent season. So that's another thing. The pass rush, Jared Allen, the Williams wall, that's definitely one of the best in the NFL. The run defense, like I said, second ranked. They've been pretty much up in the top 5, I believe, for the last 4 or 5 years. So we know that's going to come. Now, the bad things that they have, I put all offensive line in there now only because during the Saints game they pretty much were just exposed. Brett Favre was getting beaten up by the Saints, and even the game against Carolina, Julius Peppers absolutely dominated the Vikings offensive line. Now I think they'll be better this year, but they didn't really address it in the draft, so they feel confident enough with who they've got. Another bad thing they had, obviously, was the pass defense. Aside from Antoine Winfield, they didn't have another guy. There wasn't anybody else that was standing up or stepping up and helping contribute. Now, they did sign Lito Shepherd this year. They drafted Chris Cook. Not too big on him, but I think he's better than who they've got, so it is an upgrade. So it is an upgrade regardless. So I think that was going to be, they did kind of address it. I don't know exactly if it's going to be better. But they did address the need. They feel confident in what they've got. Now, obviously, the other weakness they have is the fumbleitis issue with Adrian Peterson. 3 years, his fumbles have increased. So it's really become a highlight, a big spot, a glaring spot on him to be able to continue or to carry the ball without dropping it. And I think they are really going to address that issue this year in their training camp. They have no other option. I mean, he's been fumbling like crazy, so they're going to do drills. They're going to make sure that he's prepared to stop fumbling the football. We'll see how it happens in the regular season, but I do think that they are going to definitely make that one of their key issues to help. Now, they were 12-4 last year. Tough games on the road. Week 1 at Saints. That's going to be a huge game, but I think they actually will win that one. Another one at the Jets. They have at Green Bay. I think they'll beat the Patriots too, but I said at New England. Tough games at home, really just the Packers and the Cowboys. And put the Cowboys because remember the beatdown that Minnesota got. That defense is going to come in and they're going to want to pretty much hurt Favre because they feel like they were disrespecting them. So I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to come into that game and they're going to really be focused on getting revenge. So we'll see how that game plays out. I think that'll be a great game. Overall, the game that I'll be paying most attention to will be the Week 1 game at New Orleans. I do think that's going to be one of the top games in the NFL, and another one will be also the Jets. Now, remember, Brett Favre went to the Jets. He did suffer that arm injury. The Jets went from really going to the playoffs to missing the playoffs, and a lot of Jet fans blame Brett Favre. He had that horrible, after he left, everyone kind of came out and bashed Favre. I think it's going to be both sides. The Jets are going to want to prove to Favre that he should have stayed because now they have a Super Bowl caliber team, and Favre's going to want to go in there and beat up on the Jets for them criticizing him and everything like that. So overall, I think the Vikings' overall record is going to be 12-4, same as Green Bay. But I think after they do the whole scheduling issue and the toughness and the division rankings, I think Green Bay is going to come out on top over the Vikings that way. It's just my prediction. I could be wrong. I may be wrong. And the one issue that I do want to bring forward to a lot of Viking fans, because I haven't heard really anybody talking about it, is this will probably be Brett Favre's last chance for a Super Bowl, at least with the Vikings, probably in his career, because remember, we are in an uncapped year. After this year, there's a pretty big chance that there's not going to be football after this year due to the holdout agreements. So if that's the case and Favre doesn't win, so the Vikings don't win the Super Bowl, he doesn't even, doesn't win, you're looking at his contract expires. I'm sure they'll re-sign him if he wants to, and I'm sure that's going to be the case if there's football next season. But if there's not, you're talking about him being away from football for 18 months. He's 41 years old starting, he'll be 41 in, I believe, November, or October, November area. He's going to be 41 years old. So it's going to be a huge issue if they don't win it this year. Favre may not have another Super Bowl. So it's going to definitely be a key issue, like I said, for the Vikings. So that's my projections for the Minnesota Vikings. Tomorrow I'll be doing the Chicago Bears projections and what I think they'll finish up at. Be sure to subscribe and definitely spread the word. Let everyone know that this is not just a one-team issue. This is every team in the NFL, all 32 teams. So you can friend me. You can write me comments. We'll be doing questions. I'll be, kind of answering your questions and all that fun stuff. So be sure to subscribe, guys. Thank you for checking out the channel and checking out the videos. This is Chris reporting for NFL News and Notes. Thank you for joining me.